What's going on, drivers? Welcome to Trucking with Old Snapper. And of course, I am Old Snapper. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff that YouTubers like to say. It helps the videos out. I'm sitting here in Amarillo, Texas. Just got through eating some barbecue. And I give the barbecue a 2 out of 5 stars. That brisket was a little overcooked. It was not near as tender as it should be, and it was dry as hell. But it was some food, and that served its purpose. The beans were good though, and the banana pudding was pretty good too. But anyway, in this video, we're going to talk about Crete carriers versus poly trucking. I was going to do this long drawn out deal and set them side by side, but I can actually sum all that up pretty quickly and not drag everybody through an hour-long video explaining the differences between the two and how they match up, because I've worked for both companies. So first things and foremost is I don't represent either company. I'm not a recruiter for either company. I simply have just worked at both companies. And the views and opinions expressed in this video will just be that. Views and opinions from me, Old Snapper. That's it. That's all it is. All right. So we're going to do a quick rundown side by side. And then I'm going to explain in the end. I'm gonna give you a real quick, easy way to know which company will fit you better. And that'll solve that. We won't be here for an hour and a half, talking about the two companies, right? Because I'm sure there's been a few people hit me up, and I'm sure if you're one of those that have hit me up and you're just kind of wanting a straight answer, which way should you go? Well, it's a little more complicated than that, but we're going to try to simplify it as much as possible. All right. Now, when it comes to equipment, all right, when most company drivers compare companies when they're thinking about a company, they look at several points. One is equipment, 2 is home time, 3 is money, 4 is insurance, 5 is retirement. Excuse the loud Landstar truck just pulled up beside me. Hopefully the noise cancellation will take some of that out. But those are the points that most company drivers look at when they're looking at a company, right? All right, now when it comes to equipment, in my opinion, Crete Carriers has it hands down. Crete Carriers has they have refrigerators in all their trucks. They have a wide variety of trucks. They run both Kenworth 680s and Freightliners, with very few internationals. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were getting away from internationals. I know at one time when I was there, they keep track of their downtime, and the downtime was just far too high on the internationals. So they started lowering the amount of internationals they had on their fleet. Went with mainly Freightliner Cascadias with a few Kenworth 680s. But equipment wise, they got it. Now, when it comes to insurance, Poly has it. Poly has cheaper insurance and better insurance. My co-pays are lower, my deductibles, all that stuff's better, and the amount of money it costs me for insurance is lower than it was at Crete. All right. Retirement is the same. Both companies match up to 6%, so that's the same across the board. Now, let me go back. When it comes to equipment, there is one place that Poly shines where Crete doesn't. Crete has OptiIdle on all their trucks. OptiIdle sucks. You can go back through my videos and you'll see one where it was nearly 100 degrees in my truck with OptiIdle. I mean, OptiIdle is not comfortable at all. It's very, very uncomfortable in my opinion. Well, here at Poly, the Peterbilts have APUs and the internationals have EPUs. APUs and EPU, not so much. EPU is almost like OptiIdle, so but the Peterbilts with the APUs far outshine OptiIdle by a long shot. All right, now to get back over to the other points. Home time. Home time at Poly, in my opinion, is better than my home time at Crete. I never took 7 days off at one time at Crete, ever. I do at Poly every time I go home. Now I stay out a little longer than most. I'll run a month, and then I go home for a week. Now here's why I say it's different. At Crete, it doesn't matter how many miles you run or how little miles you run. They do 1 day off for every 6 days out. All right, unless you're on some special dedicated or some other kind of fleet. But if you're a regular OTR, they do 1 day off for every 6 days out. Now here at Poly, we operate more like an owner operator setup. Okay, you pick your own loads off the plant. No forced dispatch. You put yourself on the board for both backhauls and for outbounds. You're 100% in control of your dispatch. You are your dispatcher. Everything your dispatcher does at another company, you do here. So people ask, how many miles can you run at Poly? How many miles do you want to run? That's basically what it's going to come down to, because you're in control of that yourself for the most part. But anyway, here at Poly, the way home time works is you can go home as much as you want with one criteria met. You have to meet one criteria. You have to have averaged 2,000 miles per week, including your time off. So let's say you're out for 6 weeks and then you take a 7th week off. You take all your miles, divide it by those 7 weeks, and as long as it comes out to more than 2,000 miles per week, then you're good. That's the only criteria. There's guys that go home all the time here. They run hard and then they go home. They'll come out or run hard, go home. That way they can keep their average up. So that your home time here, in my opinion, is a little bit better. You're more in control of your home time here at Poly. So in that case, I'd say Poly's a little bit better. Now, money wise, I make more money at Poly with less work than I ever did at Crete. Now, I know if you look at Crete's website, they'll tell you top 50% make $100,000 or $110,000 a year. Look, that's top 50% or top 80%. There ain't no guarantee you're going to be in that. And when you use wording like top 50% or top 10%, there's no way to prove that those numbers really exist. Although I did make good money at Crete, I make more money at Poly. And that's me comparing it side by side, and same driver running the same way. I make more money at Poly than I did at Crete. So I can say that for sure. Now, let's just simplify it on down. If you're looking at both companies, or let's say you're at Crete and you're thinking about coming to Poly, or you're working for another company and you're thinking about going to either Crete or Poly, how would you come up with deciding on which one? Well, you can use some of that stuff I just told you, but there's another way to easily do it. Crete, if you have passengers or pets, you're going to want to go to Crete. Poly doesn't allow passengers, doesn't allow pets. All right, so that's an easy, simple deal right there. If you don't like APUs or EPUs, then you're going to want to go to, if you'd rather have OptiIdle, which I don't know why you would. I don't know anybody that's ever liked OptiIdle. As a matter of fact, I ran a what do you call it on here, a survey or whatever, and OptiIdle was the least favorite of among drivers that did the survey. But if for whatever reason you are into OptiIdle, well, then you're going to want to go there. Here we got APUs and EPUs, which I by far prefer an APU over all of them, but that's just me personally. If you're not a go-getter, if you're not someone that is self-started, you're going to put yourself on the board and you're going to do what you got to do, and run your miles. You want it all done for you. Well, then you better go to Crete. If you want a dispatcher, you just want to wake up every day and dispatcher tell you where to go, better go to Crete. Now, if you don't like running the East Coast, well, you might want to come to Poly, because you can pick your outbound loads, so you can kind of control that. You want to go to the East Coast, go west on your outbound loads, or go to the Southeast, or go Midwest. Don't run up the East Coast. That's something else where I think Poly shines over Crete. Crete they've got freight all over, but their primary running area is the Northeast, east of I-35. Pennsylvania, they love it. Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Jersey, Maryland, they absolutely love freight out there. I spent a good majority of my time at Crete Carriers in that area. I can probably tell you every hiding spot there is for parking a truck up there because I ran it so much with Crete. And that was always one of my complaints when I was at Crete is I felt more like a regional driver for the Northeast. And I know a lot of guys will go Mid South regional, or they'll run Kellogg's dedicated or one of the dedicated fleets to get away from running the Northeast all the time. One of my other complaints about Crete is they got Walmart dedicated fleets. Walmart dedicated fleets suck. As a company driver, they suck. If you're going to work for Walmart, you're better off working for Walmart than you are working for one of these outside carriers that has a contract with Walmart. The miles are not always there. It's inconsistent. A whole lot of nights, and if you're like me, I don't really care for running nights all the dang time. But so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, if you just want a quick deal, you can make more money at Poly. But if you got pets or you like to take your wife or husband out with you, then you need to go to Crete. If insurance is important to you, then you should come to Poly. We got our insurance cost is lower and it's better insurance. I mean, I can go to a specialist for $35. I mean, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. But that's the basic rundown comparing Crete to Poly, in my opinion. Hopefully you grabbed a pen, jotted that stuff down as you went through so you can kind of compare the both of them. If you email me or you message me on here, I'll try to answer as much as I can. If I have an answer, I will respond to you and let you know what my thoughts are or what the answer is if you have a question about one of the two companies. I will say this in the end. Crete is not a bad company. They are a good company. So is Poly. But in my opinion, Poly fits me a little bit better. Does that mean it would fit all drivers? No, not at all. Just depends. Like I said, if you bring people out with you, like to bring your kids out with you and stuff like that, then you're probably gonna want to go to Crete. You also got to remember that Crete's a traditional trucking company, where Poly is not. Crete's got 6,000 trucks. Poly, I think, has 300. I mean, it's hard to compare the two. Now, I will say this on one final note: at Poly, they know who you are. You walk in there, they know who you are. They know you by name. They know your voice. It ain't like Crete, where Crete, they kind of know who you are because you'll deal with the same people all the time. But if you ever deal with somebody different, they don't know who you are. They ain't got a clue. And they deal with so many people, to be honest with you, they probably don't even care. But here, they know who you are. I can text them, call them, email them. They know who I am. And that kind of feels good being recognized not by a 5-digit truck number, but actually by my name and who I am. You know what I'm saying? When my mom had her heart attack, they reached out and asked me how she was doing. They were on top of that stuff. Had I been at Crete, they would have got me home. But Crete wouldn't have said nothing. I wouldn't have heard from nobody. You know, it just would have been a hey, when you let us know when you're ready to roll. So keep that in mind. I hope all you out there are staying safe, staying out of trouble, being good to one another. Remember, we are all family, and y'all keep trucking.